New auger is in. This half of it's still the old one. The new one's underneath, but. All right, guys, so we have the combine back, and as you can see, we are at the main farm. So we are going to combine some corn today. So we have been working on the grain cart. I haven't been getting too much footage of it just because it's been kind of a difficult process and kind of hard to film in. But the grain cart is almost fixed. We're trying to find this one part right now so we can get it working. But otherwise, we are pretty much ready to do corn. So we're starting at the main farm right now, and we're basically just going to combine a load, and we'd like to fill the grain cart at least one dump on it. That way we can kind of make sure it's working once we do get it fixed. And then hopefully, if we can finish that today, tomorrow we are going to go up to my field. So we're going to be using this combine, obviously, since that's the only combine we got. And we're also going to be using our grain cart, as hopefully. And we're also going to be using the Dairy Farms grain cart. So that way, we don't have to mess with the auger and wagons, because that's just going to be kind of a mess since the field is more in town, I guess you could say. So that's kind of the plan. So I guess we'll get started here. So we did already combine some corn at the dairy farm. So the combine should be set pretty close to what it should be. But I do think I'm gonna put you guys down so I can pay attention a little more, at least at the beginning. All right, so I combined a little bit, and I am on my own today, at least for a little while. So I'm gonna check, make sure it's doing what it should be. See if I need to open things up or close things down a little bit. And I can already tell I need to close or open things up a little bit, because the ideal situation is to have full cobs that don't have any grain on them. And you can see it's crunching them up pretty good. So I'm gonna open the cylinders a little bit. The grain in the tank seem pretty clean, so I don't think I need to mess much with that. Can also kind of look back here, and if there gets any corn stuck in here, I'll open these up a little bit. Or if there's a bunch of trash in the hopper, then I might have to close these down a little bit. And they look pretty wide open, so I might end up having to close them, but should be good for now. So that's basically what I'm going to be doing for a little bit, is just kind of setting the combine to how we like it. So here is my concave, I guess, distance from the rotor. For soybeans, we had it at about 30. And I just turned it up to 41. It was about 37 right now. So we'll try 41, see how that goes. Otherwise, the grain in the tank doesn't look horrible. I guess there is a little bit of residue in there. So I do think I'm gonna go back and close those up a little bit, actually. So these really don't have to be changed too much from corn to soybeans, just because there isn't that much of a difference in the grain. And I can definitely tell that they're open quite a bit more than what they were for beans. So that just might be how he likes to run it. A lot of different operators will run the combine different, and this is just how we like it. We like really clean grain, at least as clean as we can get. And also try to minimize how much we throw out the back. So you guys might not recognize this header, and this is the header that the dairy farm owns. We just decided to use this because it was already hooked up, so why mess with it? And he was okay with us using it, so. Stop again, look at the grain tank. Actually pretty clean. There's one piece of straw there, if you can see, which we will get a little bit of that. And just looking at this, the kernels look really big, which generally is a sign that they're still wet, or it can mean that they are going to yield very well. So it does feel a little wet. I am curious. We do got the moisture tester here. We can see what it's at. So the way this moisture tester works is basically it reads the electricity coming off of it to see how wet it is. So on the side here we got different crops that we can put in. We'll fill it up right to the top, put this screw back on, and then we tighten it till this is flush. It's got a little spring in there, so compact it. Turn it on here, go to corn, which is number 1. 16.2. That is actually about perfect. So generally we are drying the corn down to 15%. That is what the co-op will store the grain at. But generally, if we can get corn less than 20%, that is really good. So since these are huge kernels, that's just telling me that this corn is yielding really well. And I kind of already figured that, because this is a really expensive variety, and up there further is actually where the hayfield used to be. So we had very high hopes for this field, and you can see how tall it is. It's almost about as tall as the combine. So really good. The other thing you can kind of look at with corn is how much the corn kind of piles up. So if it's at a really steep bank like this, that's usually because it's really wet. But you can see it's fairly flat. So that also tells me that it's pretty dry. So we'll take a look at our cobs. It looks a little better. You can see here's a full one, but there is still quite a few real small ones, so I might open it up just a hair. Take a look. We aren't really losing any out the back, which is actually pretty surprising. Here's one kernel. Here's a second. Third there. So that's actually really clean. Settings back here look a little better. If we take a look right under the header, my guess is most of our loss is coming from the header. Here you can see, here's 1, here's 2, 3, 4. So yeah, most of our loss is going to be coming from our header, which is to be expected. On the newer combines, you can actually adjust what's called the deck plates. So here, these are the deck plates, and you can adjust the spacing to adjust for how big the cobs are. And because our cobs are actually pretty small, which is kind of surprising, but you can see just how tall these plants are. I mean, I know I'm short, but I don't think I'm that short. Whatever it is, it's yielding pretty good so far, but these actually don't look too bad. Yeah, what I was getting at with these deck plates, most of our most of our grain that is going on our ground is coming from the header. And the way the header works is it basically yanks the stalk down, rips off the ear. So it's kind of an aggressive process. So when the cob hits these deck plates, a lot of times they'll shatter if they're really dry. So that's also why we don't really want to get the corn too dry, because we'll get a lot more header loss. The way that you compensate for the header loss is basically to just speed up the header or slow it down. I'm not too worried about it since it doesn't look too bad, so I'm going to leave it where it's at and continue combining. We'll open the cylinders a little bit. Go to 44, 45, that's good. We'll leave it at that for now. See how it does. And the sun makes it really hard to see. All right, got our first load. We only made one round, or I guess one pass, but around the whole field once. So I'd say that's pretty good. So this is my first dump of corn for 2024. If you guys could never tell, corn is definitely my favorite thing to do. Or I should say combining corn is definitely my favorite thing to combine. Just because it feels like you're doing more, if that kind of makes sense. So you fill up a lot faster, you're handling a lot more grain, and I don't know, the way the corn head works, it's just kind of satisfying to me. Alright, so I'm working on my third hopper full right now. Things have been going really good. I believe I got the combine about set to where it is performing the best that it can, and it is yielding really well. I'm only on my third pass around the field, and like I said, I'm on my third hopper full, so it's doing really good. Going about 2.7 miles an hour right now. I could be going a little faster, but I always like to take it easy at the beginning. Just make sure everything's running right. And especially when I'm talking to you guys, because then I have to do everything with one hand. Alright, so I got 2 wagons full. I need to move these 2 wagons out of the way so I can get to this one. We are only going to fill these 3 and leave these 2 empty because we want to test out the grain cart by filling the grain cart up, at least, you know, with the loader too, and run them into the gravity wagon just to make sure it works. I mean, everything should work, but you guys have probably started to figure out how that goes around here. So I'm gonna go, we'll probably get the new tractor just because I think that'll pull it the best. Now I do have a little story with this tractor. So as you can see, there is no door. So you guys probably kind of figured out what happened already. So yeah, we had a little incident with the door. It was not me, but we did get a new door for it, and you'll actually see it over here in a second, sitting right there. Tried putting it on, but for some reason the hole up there and these two holes here aren't lining up, and I don't know why, because the door is for this tractor. So yeah, we're gonna have to figure that out, but for now, obviously the tractor works just fine without it. So corn is a lot lighter than soybeans, so we can pretty easily pull around 2 wagons, especially with this tractor. All right, we'll just park the wagons here for now. So what happened with the window, or the door I should say, was we had the 2510 over here, and basically we left the door open and he pulled it forward and shattered the glass. So you can see it just broke into a million pieces. So we're gonna have to figure out how to clean that up at least a little bit. But yeah, that's the story behind that. Alright guys, so we are done for the day. The hopper is really full actually, and those 3 wagons are full that we wanted. Yeah, very close to the top. And you can see this sensor is a very bad design, because you guys can see that sensor didn't even go off yet. So yeah, we're gonna have to try and adjust that a little bit, but it's still kind of a bad design. So I guess that'll be it for today's video. Hopefully tomorrow we'll be working on my field, so stay tuned for that video. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.